Welcome back to Burning River Bushcraft. Today we're going to be taking a look at the seatosummit X32 camp cookware set. And if you look how thin this thing is, this is impressive. This is unlike anything I've ever seen or anything I've ever had before. And I have an 8-inch skillet, but underneath the lid I have 2 camp pots that are collapsible. So if this is the kind of thing you like to see, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel. Leave me a comment in the comment box and ring the bell to be notified of my latest videos. You can also find me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Burning River Bushcraft. I also teach outdoor classes at outdoorcore.com. So the skillet is about 8 inches around, and the 2 pots that come out of here, the smaller pot is 1.3 liters, and it's kind of got a kettle shape to it with a pour spout, and the larger pot is 2.8 liters. Now, the coolest thing about this is how it collapses. So I am probably about 1.5 inches deep on this. And if you're packing like I have to pack sometimes, weight is not my main thing. I'm not so much of a backpacker, but I do have to fit in certain size bags, certain size canoe barrels. I have to fit in hatches of kayaks more often. So overall size is usually what gets me and what makes me take an item out of my pack, because it just wouldn't fit very well. With this thing, I have a complete cook set, and that is a heck of a compact size. This total weight is about 28 ounces. So this cook set fits pretty solid when it's all together. And I've got these little tabs that kind of break the kit down. This is the lid for the 2.8 liter pot, the larger one. And I've got a little pull tab here that kind of collapses. So that's cool. This is like a high temperature silicone. So this is like a plastic material, but it's BPA free, and it's got latches, so it does latch. But the coolest thing about it is these drain holes here on the top. So most of the time, if I'm spilling food in a camp situation, it's when I'm trying to drain liquid off. And with this, the lid just kind of sits tight, and you can pour liquid right through the lid. So with the lid off, you can kind of see a little bit better what's going on here. So this is my this seems silly, but this is the 1.3 liter pot. It's just ridiculous. And a lot of times I'm not going to be carrying this whole kit. If I only need the small pot, I'm only going to carry the small pot. So I'm going to be ditching weight pretty easy with this. So this is the 2.8 liter pot, and that's, again, just totally ridiculous. So I'm just going to pop this out. So the base of this is aluminum, and the sides are a high temperature silicone. Now, for regular campfire use, you cannot have flames in direct contact with this silicone. So that's going to lend itself a lot better to a camp stove. This is not intended to be used on your range at home, because it just puts out a lot more power than a typical camp stove does. But for camp use, you want to keep this on a stove or on some type of isolated burner. Now, a twig stove is going to be great because that's going to focus your heat point. What you don't want to do is just set this down on the coals and let flames lick up and around the silicone. Another thing you don't want to do with this is heat it dry, obviously. So inside the pot here, I've got measurements coming up the pot, and I've got cups on one side, liters on the other. So the lid sits right on here and seats all the way down, and that would be for normal use, but you can also put these latches on as well. And that would probably be the most secure way to do this when you were using the strain feature. So when you were just dumping this off, this would definitely be the safest way to go with it. But you don't need that at all. Just for normal cooking, you've got the silicone grab handle on top. So here's the skillet. Pretty standard for a skillet, but this does not have a traditional longer skillet handle. So I've got 2 handles on either side, which again is going to work perfect for camp stoves. This is not really what I would consider a bushcrafting set. This is not something you're going to take out and be able to make char in the woods and dig holes with. But for modern camping and for speed and for having the smallest footprint from your camp gear, you can't beat this at all. And when you're using a modern stove or a twig stove or any type of anything other than a fire, the regular handle you can get by without. So with this, I can pick this up, I can turn it on the stove, and it folds completely under, when I'm not using it. This is the small cook pot, and this is 1.3 liter, and the diameter on this is right about 6 inches. So this is comparable to some of the bush pots. This is 7 ounces, and you just look how small that is. This is probably an inch, inch and a quarter, just an inch. So that'll fit in a lot of places that it's impossible to carry a regular pot. Even a nesting cup is just so big sometimes to carry, and something flat like this is awesome. Now this has a little band that goes around it, and it kind of keeps everything together, probably because this is going to be the first thing you're going to pull out of your cook set, and these are the smallest items, so it's more likely that you could lose it. So when you take this off, you definitely got to keep it. But it's the same situation. I've got a lid with a pull tab. I have an aluminum base and silicone sides. And look at that. That's like a magician pulling that thing out. So we have a little tea kettle type spout. So this would be perfect for making coffee or making tea or boiling water for any of the more traditional backpacking style meals. Now this does have gradient marks up the side as well, and the lid comes right off. So I can definitely see when I'm trying to be ultra light, or at least have the smallest footprint as possible, using this as my main cook pot. So this is pretty impressive to me. I have something about the size of a Frisbee, and inside of that I've got an entire cook set. This is just totally amazing to me. This is something I'm really looking forward to using. This is going to allow me to bring other items with me just because my cookware takes up so much less space. Now they have a whole bunch of different items in this X series, so I'm not exactly sure. I've seen cups and plates and stuff, and they've got other items, and I'm not sure what interchanges, but for me, this is a great basis for a camp cook set. If it's just going to be me and I'm someplace where I'm going to be eating backpack meals and maybe getting some game, I would probably leave the bigger pot at home. I would just take the smaller pot for coffee and for rehydrating meals, and I'd bring the skillet for sure. But this absolutely changes things. This is unlike anything I've ever seen or anything I've ever had. I look forward to using this, and you're going to be seeing a lot of this X32 set from seatosummit in the future. Till next time, this has been Jamie Boggs with Burning River Bushcraft. See you soon.